Oh my. So Esteldon's back at it again, and I'm going to do a reaction to this video. We're going to keep this relatively short, but Starfield won an award, won a Game of the Year award. Not for, best game, but still, it won an award. I guess that means I have to take back everything I've ever said about Starfield. Clearly, Starfield is a great game. It is an amazing game. It's an award-winning game. I was completely wrong, and all of you were also completely wrong about Starfield, and we're gonna have to admit it. So the award was most innovative gameplay. What? All right, let's take a listen to what Estellan's got to say. Once again, gonna link his video down below.
If you thought Game of the Year was the most prestigious award category, you couldn't be more wrong. Most innovative gameplay, that is the award, that is the prize that people really care about. At least according to Starfield fans, because as we can see on the Starfield Twitter, they say that they're thrilled to announce that Starfield has won Most Innovative Gameplay at the Steam Awards.
Okay, well, first of all, Steam Awards, I guess, are just voted on by Steam people, right? People on Steam. I voted on them before. I mean, anybody can vote on them, so fine. But most innovative gameplay?
And Uncle Phil, he wasn't missing out on this action. He's retweeted that as well. He's very happy. He's content. He's thinking, no, we didn't waste $8 billion on Bethesda. It was a fine purchase. Look at all these awards Starfield is getting. We're running out of space on the shelf. This was all worth it. But what you're probably thinking is, how the hell did Starfield win Most Innovative Gameplay? How does that happen? If this was just Best Xbox Game or some sort of nonsense, no one would have cared. People would have simply shrugged and gone back inside. But Most Innovative Gameplay, people's whole problem with Starfield is that it feels 10, 15 years old. It's like Fallout 3, Skyrim, but without any of the good parts.
I don't want to say that Starfield winning this particular award is. I don't want to say it's rigged. Okay, I don't want to say there's some weird conspiracy going on with Starfield fans or with Bethesda with working with Steam. I don't want to say any of that. I'm not saying that, but there is something seriously wrong with this game ever even being in the running for that award.
It's got all of the bad stuff, the jank, the wacky character models, the mediocre storylines, but it's got none of the positives. There's no environmental storytelling, the exploration in general is simply bland, the world sucks. So if you scratch your head and you really start to think about what is it that Bethesda might have innovated on, what is it we could have forgotten about? Is it the gunplay? No. Is it the planets? Definitely not. Is it the procedural generation? Nah. NPCs. Unless they count as innovation, unless those facial animations do something for you, I don't think that's what won at the category. So the question then becomes, what are the Steam Awards and how the hell did this win?
There is absolutely nothing innovative about Starfield. It is a game that looks like it should have come out in 2010 and probably would have won some awards if it had. But this is 2023. Now it's 2024. Seriously, there's nothing innovative about this game. Again, you could say you like Starfield, but where is the innovation? Where is it? What are they doing that is other than the amount of planets? That's it. That's the only thing they've done that hasn't been done. That was their only focus. Amount of planets. That's it. I don't get it. I seriously don't get it.
Well, I did some digging, and the Steam Awards themselves, they are community voted. So it's not as if Gabe and the executive leadership team at Valve, they came together, they had a big conference and decided Starfield is the deserving winner, it is the champion. It certainly wasn't that, it literally was the general public who was voting on this. And to further clarify how this won, if we have a look at all of the different categories that were on offer here for the Steam Awards, we can see...
Yeah, that's right. And I do believe when I voted that's correct. They list like 5 games you could choose from. That's correct. Because I go through many of those categories and I'm like, I don't know any of these games. I haven't played any of them. I don't know. I recall that. So here's the thing. Somebody at Steam boobed by putting Starfield in this category. If you want to put them in for, I don't know, best soundtrack or whatever, go ahead. That's fine. But I'm not saying they should have won best soundtrack. I don't know. But I'm saying for them to be on the ballot for innovative game, Steam, you really, really messed up. You don't understand this game, clearly. Whoever put the list together. And somebody said, well, you got to put Starfield in this category. No. No, you absolutely need to keep it away from that category. Look, you know what? I'll let him talk. I'll go on my rant in a bit.
Game of the year, Baldur's Gate 3 won it. Nice, they picked up another W. That's always a good thing. But you can see in these nominations, EA Sports FC 24. So it's quite clear that the people voting on these awards, they're not really like maybe you or I. It's literally a whole nother sphere of the gaming community. These are people who probably only play EA Sports, these types of games. They play absolutely nothing else. You've also got Hogwarts Legacy. Nice, there'll be certain people on the internet who are probably quite upset at that. But you've got Lethal Company, that's an indie title that's taken off recently. Makes sense that it's on there. Resident Evil 4, you've probably got the same EA Sports people looking at Resident Evil 4 and scratching their head and going, Resident Evil 4? I played that 20 years ago on the GameCube. What's that doing on a Game of the Year list? The point is there's a lot of casual players who don't know about what remakes are coming out, what games are releasing this year. They probably play a handful of them, and many of those people, they probably played Starfield, they heard it's from the makers of Skyrim, they probably dabbled, they played for a few hours, they're not going to be super mad.
So I'm guessing in their category, there wasn't any other major games, or not a lot of other major games. So in the innovative category, people who wanted to go through and vote on the Steam Awards, once you click on, yes, I'm going to vote on the Steam Awards, you're going to vote in every category. So if you don't know the games there, you're just going to, well, I've heard of Starfield, I'll just click on that. Sure. Move on to the next category. That's probably a lot of what happened. Because if you've got 8,000 players on Steam, because the rest dropped out, who's rushing over there to Steam to vote for Starfield? Now, again, I'm not going to suggest a message went out on some Reddits or something for everybody to rush over to Steam and vote for Starfield in any categories it was in. But it might have happened. I don't know. I don't know.
Because they're not super fans. They're not people who are heavily anticipating it. Those are the people who are most disappointed. They thought we might be getting the next Skyrim, the next Bethesda-style Fallout. It was going to be the new big modern game, and it wasn't that, and that's why people were pissed. Again, it's not the case that people are really angry because it's a game they don't like. There's plenty of shit games that are released, but this game just felt like it could have been something more, but incompetence meant we missed out on a genuine Bethesda game like we've enjoyed perhaps in the past. And if we go through some more of these categories, Labor of Love. Now, looking at the releases here, it's mostly live services like Dota 2, Apex Legends. But then you've got Red Dead Redemption 2 here. Now, I don't even believe this has had any sort of major patch this year because Labor...
And when was this put together? Because why was Cyberpunk 2077 not in here for their major DLC and their update and patch that came out right before it that completely changed the game? Why is that not even in there? That's very strange. I'm not saying, again, it should have won. Oh, why is it not in the running?
Of love, it's meant to mean games that developers do love. They keep updating them, they keep expanding on them, and yet Red Dead Redemption 2 1, not even Red Dead Online, I believe, has had meaningful updates. So what this basically means is this winning over these live service games that probably have decent fan bases, they're just not as big as a huge Rockstar title, is people just go on these Steam Awards, again, they're player voted, this isn't Valve choosing the best games, and they just go, oh, I like Red Dead Redemption, I pick that one. They're not thinking about the categories. They're not saying, does Red Dead Redemption 2 genuinely deserve to win this? No, they just think, I like the game, I'll click the button. It basically seems to work like that. Oh, look, winner, Hogwarts Legacy, Best Steam Deck Award. Some people are going to be very upset. And if we now go to Innovative Gameplay Award and we look what Starfield was up against, I tried to look into exactly how the
Where's Baldur's Gate 3 in this category? Again, talking about a game that's been innovative for the amount of choice as well as the massive amount of excellent voice players and voice characters in the game. That and the huge amount of choice you have everywhere. And you don't have to wait for a choice of conversation. You've got a choice right now. What do you want to do? You can make like 100 different moves. I'm going to choose to throw a chair at, this person over here and start a bar fight. Like, I mean, you could pretty much do that in Baldur's Gate 3 at any moment. And it's not in this category. Like, that's surprising. I don't want to be, a Baldur's Gate 3 simp, but that's, one of the games I know came out last year it's really good. Not Starfield, which is really good for 2010. And really terrible for any year after it.
Nominations work. If you can sort of pick anything and then you go into like the finals, I think it's something like that, but just the way it was laid.
No, there are categories with certain games in the categories that you got to choose. Not sure if it's 5, but there's only a handful, maybe a couple more than that, 6 or 7, I don't know, that you choose from that are picked for you in the categories. Pretty sure. That's what I call.
Laid out voting in the Steam Awards, it doesn't seem to be very intuitive, and let's be honest, most people who are gaming on Steam in their spare time, they're playing games, they don't care about voting in this meaningless crap, and if we actually look at the nominations listed here, Shadow of Doubt, that's an indie title, it doesn't even have 10,000 reviews on Steam, and I'm not knocking it, it's just not going to have the mainstream appeal,
they won't vote
even
for
of a Starfield, even if you don't like the game, there's still going to be more fans of it than some of these smaller titles. Contraband Police, it's a simulation game, again, very niche, it probably does its kind of game quite well, but it's not going to appeal to a wider group of people. The biggest one here outside...
So really, I think what this tells me, and it's probably a good reminder, don't pay attention to things like Steam Awards. If it's just the fans voting on their favorite game in categories, it really doesn't mean anything.
Starfield is Remnant 2, and even...
Unless you're Phil Spencer or Todd Howard or,
that I'd probably classify as double A. Even though it's good, it's not going to have the marketing budget to compete, at least in terms of public interest, with Starfield. So it seems like Bethesda basically won this by default, and I think the really short version of this is, why did Starfield win? It's because really the Steam Awards are a little bit silly, they don't really make a whole lot of sense. It's nice that every gamer can jump on and have a voice, and I'm not being elitist when I say people jump on and they vote for EA Sports or whatever it might be. Those fans, they're entitled to do that. They should be able to have that voice as well. But I don't think the average gamer is really going to care. They're not even going to be very mad about this. Okay, Starfield won something, but it's
ridiculous.
like getting a prize out of a cereal box. It doesn't mean anything. No one really cares. And I think all it really says is that the Steam Awards probably need to be looked at if Steam care about them at all, if they want them to have some credibility. If they just want people to have a bit of fun, vote on their favorite game, have something to talk about, that's fine as well.
So here's my take on this. When you go back and look at most innovative gameplay, as Estelden broke down, There is nothing about Starfield that's innovative. The only innovative thing is just the amount of planets you can visit, the amount of planets in the solar system, in the solar systems, right? And that's the thing that Todd Howard, you know, wanted to do: make more planets, more planets, more planets. We need more planets. You know, he was hoping he'd get praise as a hero for making a game with so many planets, and he forgot about everything else in the game. Also forgot that Bethesda can't make a good game because they're stuck in the past. But beyond that, if you look at the category and you think about Starfield, okay, if I was going to vote on 1 to 100, where is Starfield for innovation in gaming? I'd give it a 1. I can't give it a 0 just because it's got a bunch of planets. I'll give it a 1. Let's be honest, there is nothing innovative there. There is nothing that is not dated and worse than even Bethesda's done before, let alone other companies are doing. Okay? There is no innovation. I'd give it a 1 out of 100. If Baldur's Gate 3 is in the category, because Baldur's Gate 3 won actually Game of the Year at the Game of the Year Awards, right? The Game Awards. If Baldur's Gate 3, because I know that game, this is why I bring it up as an example. If it's in there for innovation in gameplay, I'm giving it a 90 out of 100. I'm not giving it higher than that because, people are going to be like, well, it's a Dungeons and Dragons game. Well, it's a turn-based game, Well, it's a role-play game. It's an RPG, There's going to be all kinds of excuses. I'd give it a solid 90 out of 100, though. Okay? How then does Starfield win that category? And I'm not even saying like Baldur's Gate 3 would be the top in that. Maybe there'd be something else, other game that I don't know about that has more innovation, whether it's a small studio, whether it's another game, whatever it is, that would be above 90 and win. That's fine. But a game with basically zero innovation at all. A game that is a laughing stock and the butt of jokes. A game that has turned people off of that company forever. For it to win most innovative gameplay. That's ridiculous. That is like Steam should be embarrassed. But I think they are going, like Estella has just said when I clicked off here, like he just said, I think they're just letting people vote and have fun. But I'm going to tell you, they never should have put Starfield in that category and let it be an option. That's the wrong category for that game to be in. There is no innovation in that game. I'm sorry. So people, I'm not angry about this, but I'm a little disappointed in Steam for it. I'm a little disappointed in that, now I kind of have to think about the Steam Awards differently and say, yeah, okay, now that we look at it, break them down, they really are just fans voting who don't actually have much of the way of knowledge, or will just vote for something because whether or not it's actually the best or not makes no difference. It's the fans getting a voice, but the fans don't really know anything. They just vote for their favorite game, period. That's it. So, like I say, the Steam Awards, I got to look at them differently now. They really don't mean anything. And I should have known that earlier anyways, but it's good to maybe have that reaffirmed so you can go, okay, yeah, that's fine. I'm not mad that they won the most innovative gameplay on the Steam Awards for 2023, Starfield. I'm disappointed. Disappointed in voters, disappointed in Steam, disappointed in that system, disappointed that it got put in that category. Like I say, I probably wouldn't have had a big of a reaction to it if it had won in a different category than that. But that's something that they are so low in that everything should have beat them. Somebody put out a game of solitaire last year, and that would have beat Starfield for innovation. So, I don't know, man. It is what it is. You could check out the rest of Stelden's video. I'm not going to watch it, or I'm not going to go through it right now with you. But it is what it is. Starfield won an award, everybody. So we were all wrong. We need to send $1,000 to every Xbox player to make them feel better, and to public apology letters, right? That way they can go about their lives and feel good. Whatever, it is whatever. But unfortunately, they're going to be trying to make us eat crow over this, I'm sure. But we already know those people who are real fans of Starfield are kind of deluded and just kind of whatever. Anyways, everybody, my name is Dread. This is Miss Valley Entertainment News. Thanks, Most Eldon. We're out of here. We'll see you next time. Bye bye.